What's good out there, Liquid Trucking? Welcome into the Liquid Trucking Podcast for episode 97. So glad to have you here today. My name is, of course, Marcus, and I am your host. And let's face it, that hasn't changed for 97 episodes. Even though I say it every single time, it's just been the same. So, you know what? Chalk one up for the Liquid Trucking Podcast in the consistency column. You're welcome, America. Today's episode is a very fun one. It's different. It's actually something that we've not really focused on before in not just one aspect, but two. We've tried to focus on the shop. But one thing we know about the shop is they're busy, and we don't fault them for that. We understand that what Liquid Trucking has out there on the road, all you drivers that are happy, all the product that gets delivered on time, safely, and with a smile on your face, that all takes one very concerted effort from both the truck and the trailer shop. And those guys just don't have a lot of spare time, especially not during their workday. They work a hard job, just like the drivers do, just like everybody else in the company does. And so I haven't really always wanted to ask them to come on in their off time, right? Drivers, you guys are a little bit more free living with that. You don't mind talking to me in your off time. You don't mind if you're in the sleeper just hanging out. And I've actually had a lot of drivers have that be the time that they get in contact with me just to shoot the shit. So it's a little bit different. I don't want to ask these guys to go work an 8-hour day or a 10-hour day, whatever they're doing at the shop, and then spend an extra hour with me before they go home to their families or anything like that. So we've had trouble getting guys from the shop on. It's not for the fact that we haven't tried, and it's not for the fact that we don't want them on here. You guys shout out the shop so much, truck and trailer shop both. You guys are always saying in our final thoughts segments, you're always giving them love. And so we really wanted to get a hold of somebody. And you know what? Want not is what Jason Eisenman said. He hooked us up with an interview today, went down there, started banging the drum, and found us somebody from the shop that was willing to take a little bit of time out of their free time, because I did actually hold this interview after 5 o'clock Central Time. So big hats off to Dylan Coop, who's going to join us here in just a moment. Also with his buddy Clayton Newburn. Now, we're going to talk to Dylan a lot about his day-to-day in the trailer shop there. What is he like? What does it look like? How do you go about choosing what trailer you're going to work on next? I'm going to ask him all those questions. But as always, we want to get in a little bit behind the curtain with some of our interviews on this show, and that's why Clayton is going to be joining us with Dylan. These guys have a project that they've been working on for a while now. It's really cool. You have the ability to interact with it, which I always think is fun. And it's going to kind of open our eyes a little bit to the way things are done. You know, they say, once you've seen sausage get made, to quote Dwight Schrute, all you want to do is make sausage. Well, this episode might make you want to go throw $20 on a blackjack table. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to give away anything that's coming from the interview, but what I do want you to do is promise me that you will stay tuned at the end of the episode, because not only do I have some facts, but I'm going to present some resources as well. We're level-headed here on this podcast, okay? We're gonna get all the juice out of that shop rock that we can. We're gonna talk to Dylan for a while about his job, but then we're gonna dive in and talk some gambling, okay? So that's why I tell you, stick around at the end of the show, listen to some of these facts, some of the statistics, and some of the resources that I'm going to provide, just so that we're thinking about this logically, okay? That's all I want to say. The interview's coming up here just around the corner, so stay tuned for it. I'm not going to blab at you for very much longer. All I'm going to tell you is to go check out our amazing podcast website, podcast@liquidtrucking.com. Almost 80% of our listens come from that website. So if you're listening to this right now, and let's say you've got it on Spotify, or maybe you're on iHeart or Apple Podcasts, insert podcast platform here. That's great. But the one thing that it doesn't provide you is all the interactivity that our website does. So head on over to podcast.liquidtrucking.com. Check out all the information on every episode. You can scroll down forever, just sit there, see all the thumbnails that we've put up, all the information about the episode, who's on the episode, what we're talking about, that good stuff. If we do photo galleries, like in the past, we've had the road art photo gallery where we've got drivers' tattoos featured. We've had the drive time whips or the off time whips before, project cars, what's in the garage. We've had those type of photo galleries. I'm working on a taxidermy photo gallery still, but every day that goes by that I don't have taxidermy photos for you guys, that idea dies just a little bit. So I'm still hanging on to a thread here. If they start coming through, I will definitely get them up in a gallery on the website. You can email me your pictures, podcast@liquidtrucking.com, or of course, feel free to just text them to me if you have my number. And another thing you'll find on the podcast website this week is a contest for the Liquid Trucking families. Okay, so in a couple of weeks, we're going to be celebrating our 100th episode. If that's not worth a party horn, I don't know what is. And I fat-fingered the applause button too, so we'll take it. We've got a spooky kind of theme going on for our 100th episode this year because it falls during the Halloween week. So we've got a spooky coloring page for the kids, okay? And we've also got a coloring page for the adults. Now, if the number of crayons that I've eaten in my 30s is any suggestion, coloring is not just for kids. Scan or take a photo of your finished coloring project or your kid's finished coloring project and send it to me, podcast@liquidtrucking.com by October 22nd to enter. Our podcast team will then choose their favorites and feature the winners on the site when the 100th episode drops, and then we'll all get to celebrate together. It's a real cool deal. We wanted something that would involve the families and the adults around. So your kids got something to do. You got something to do. Show us your skills. We'll feature the winners on the website. Again, you can find those blank pages or those blank pictures, on the website, podcast.liquidtrucking.com. And once you finish them, either scan them or send a photo to me, podcast@liquidtrucking.com. Looking forward to the 100th episode. Really honest, very excited about this one. Okay, I promised you I wasn't going to gab. I got all that homework in just over a minute, so you should be kind of proud of me because I do have a tendency to do my best gabba gabba on this show. Okay, time for the interview with Dylan Coop and Clayton Newburn. We finally got a shop guy on. We're super excited about it. And we've got even more to get to after the interview, so make sure you stay tuned.
Welcome to the gold standard of podcasts for the gold standard of drivers. This is the Liquid Trucking Podcast with your host, Marcus Bridges.
All right, welcome back in here to the Liquid Trucking Podcast. This next segment is so exciting for me on like multiple fronts. I can't even start to tell you, so we're just going to dig into them as we go. Joining us here today on the show is somebody, and I'm actually, you know what? I'm queuing up my applause button for this. We finally got someone from the shop. We did it. I didn't do it. It wasn't me at all. This comes from Jason Eisenman, so big thanks to him for hooking us up with a conversation today. We've got one fellow joining us that works in the trailer shop and another guy joining us here that does not work at the trailer shop, but we'll get into that. So please welcome to the Liquid Trucking Podcast for his first appearance, trailer shop employee Dylan Coop. Dylan, thank you so much for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Of course, dude. You guys are always so busy in the shop. It's really hard to get any time with any of you guys, and I don't push for it because I understand how busy you guys are. So just know that applause button, I've been waiting to play that when we get somebody on the shop. So you're the first guy. Thanks for being here, dude.
Hopefully it opens up the floodgates so all the other guys will jump on.
I hope so. I really do. But at the same time, I got to be sure and watch my P's and Q's there because I can't be pulling you guys away from fixing trailers and trucks too much, right?
Oh, yeah. You said it.
Yep. Also joining us here on the phone is Clayton Newburn. Clayton, thank you for being here today, man. Very, very special thing that you're joining us for here. And I'm excited to get to talk to you a little bit, too, about what you do.
Yeah, I'm glad to be part of it. This is awesome.
So, Dylan, let's start out with what your job title is at the trailer shop. What does it say on the checks? Let's put it that way.
I don't look much on the checks besides the number at the very end, but I'm pretty sure it says something about a trailer technician on the top.
Trailer technician. Okay, perfect. So
Yeah.
you're one of the guys responsible for keeping this massive fleet of tanks in working order, and not just good working order, but tip-top shape. Walk me through a day in the life of Dylan at the trailer shop. Kind of start to finish. When you get in the morning, are you just looking at a never-ending line of work that you need to get done?
I mean, we get in there. I go in at 6 o'clock on Tuesdays in the morning, and then I go in and I get my energy drink, wait for our lot list to be done, which gets done around 6:30, and then we start with what is either leaving at the beginning of the day or what's been out on the road the longest, like what hasn't come in.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be like a high percentage on a chart, and we go through and we check them all out, and we start pulling them in one by one and knocking them out as fast as we can.
So there's like there's a pretty structured priority list then of what ones you're going to work on. You're not making a judgment call necessarily. You know what needs to be hit first.
Exactly, yeah. So the guys in the office, shout out to Bo and Mike and Dave in there, they go through and they'll pull all the trailers up, and it tells them how long it's been or when they're leaving. They bust their ass making sure that we get what needs to come in on time. Because, I mean, you can get a trailer in to the yard, and it'll be gone in 10 minutes. So they time it well to where we can get it in and get everything fixed on and get it back on the road.
Wow, I didn't know the turns could be that tight for them. I figured they'd sit there for, a few hours at least. 10 minutes, that's wild.
Yeah, long enough for a washout. That's about it.
Sure. Okay, so, you know what? I want to take this opportunity, Dylan, to deliver a message to you from countless drivers, okay? I talk to drivers on this show almost every single week, and multiple drivers most weeks, and the one thing that is a common theme when I give them a chance to say, hey, final thoughts, it's time for you to say whatever you want to whoever you want, almost every single one of them will single out the truck and trailer shop for helping them do their job as well as they're able to do it. And so I know that those thanks aren't only for you, Dylan, but guess what? Congratulations. Today, you get the adulation of every single driver that's ever thanked the truck or trailer shop on this show, and it's a lot of them, my friend. So I don't know if that makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside, but it made me feel good to tell you that.
It does, man. It makes me feel good. I mean, we put it down. We put it down in that trailer shop. You'll have to come out and see us sometime. It's like a NASCAR pit stop in there. It's crazy.
I'm looking forward to it, man. And it'll be actually, this is going to, for those of you that are listening to this on the day that it launches, the Jamboree will have already happened, okay? In the real world where we're recording this, the Jamboree has not happened yet, so I get to tell Dylan live here, I'm going to come meet you in a couple weeks, man. I'll be out there shaking hands and kissing babies at the Jamboree.
All right, good deal.
Yeah, you're going to have to take each other on in cornhole, all right?
You don't want that. I'm telling you. I would hate to embarrass you in front of everyone.
I don't want that smoke. Well, hey, I'll tell you where I'm not getting on a table with you, and that's a poker table, but we'll get to that here in just a little bit. I do want to talk a little bit more about the shop and the jobs that you guys do, or the job that you do out there, Dylan. Is there like a favorite project that you have on a trailer? Like as you're looking down the list and you see one that's coming up next and it's the next one going in, is there a project that you can look at on that list and go, yes, I'm so excited to get my hands into this one? And by the same token, on the flip side, is there one that you really don't like?
I would say this is kind of a hot take. I don't think I'm probably the only guy in the shop that enjoys this, but I love wiring, rewires, anything with the electrical side of things. I like. It makes me have to think. Because there's a lot of wires that go into these junction boxes and into these taillight bars, and you have to map it out ahead of time, and you have to make sure you have enough wire, and it's a nice long process. I'm not like hopping around doing too much. I get to focus on like one thing, and it's like a brain teaser for me. I love like having my brain always working on something, and I feel like that does it the best. My worst, I'd say, I'm getting pretty old and heavier, and man, I'll tell you what, doing 8 tires it's not easy. It's not easy ripping those tires off the rim and throwing new ones on. And it's back in the day, man. We could get after it, but you start to feel it. I mean, you start to feel it after a while. And if I see 8 tires, I mean, I got it, but I'm not going to enjoy it.
Yeah, well, it's an entirely different thing yanking 416s off a Ford Focus than yanking 8 of those size tires off of a trailer, dude. I can totally see that. But one thing that I do find interesting is a pretty common theme with mechanics, especially mechanics that have been in it for a long time and kind of cut their teeth working on carbureted engines and such. They hate the computer aspect of the new engines and how everything is so wired up. So I can agree with you. That's probably a pretty hot take that you're into the whole wiring puzzle, because it is a puzzle. I mean, anybody that's ever cracked the top on a junction box in anything knows that your first thought is, I'm either going to shock myself to death or I'm not going to fix this right. That's at least normally what happens with me. So hats off to you, man, for jumping in with both feet to that. That's not an easy project to enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, we get them that were done, like the last time they were even touched, it's years and years ago, so they're all corroded and rusted out, and you can't see anything. And I like to take the time to make sure that whenever we get to that 10 years later, that my junction box or my nose box is it's gonna withstand the test of time. And like, if someone does go in there in 10 years, they might be able to rewire something, like I try to make it to where it's like visible and easily accessible, so that you don't have to redo the whole thing. But it happens, man. It's the nature of the beast.
Yeah, and the reason that you'll know if Dylan was the one working on the box the last time is because when you open the lid, it says Dylan was here on the inside. So he's leaving his mark for you. Well, listen, man, I appreciate the kind of talking shop a little bit here, but there is another reason I wanted to have you on today, and it's the reason that Clayton is joining us in the back. And Clayton, I will say, man, I greatly appreciate the patience, but you're on stage now. Let's talk a little bit about the YouTube page called Coop On Tilt. I'm sitting there right now. You can find it. Just go to YouTube and type @Coop On Tilt. And it's going to bring up a YouTube page that has to do with gambling. And I'm seeing all the thumbnails here. Dude, your page looks awesome. You've got a great little logo. The presentation is great. There's a lot of color. I checked out a few of the videos. They're fun. They're interesting. All it makes me wonder is, when are you going to teach me how to be a successful gambler? Because I love gambling, but I don't win. In fact, I should just call it losing at this point in my life, to be honest with you. So talk to me, Coop, a little bit about Coop On Tilt.
Well, it's me and Clayton. We go super far back. We've known each other since middle school.
Yeah.
Early high school.
Over 10 years for sure.
Yeah. A long time. And we got like 6 other friends, and we used to just go out and degenerately gamble. Like, that was our thing. It was horrible. It was a really bad thing. And then we started seeing it like come to a surface on social media. Like, we started seeing people post their reels, and we were like, well, I mean, we're doing it for free, and like, we've got these pretty outstanding personalities. I think it works well with the camera. And so we go in there and let the casino take all of our money, and people enjoy laughing at it, I suppose.
Yeah, but one thing I want to touch on is, you say, winning. I mean, if you watch our videos, we have yet to really crack that big win, because we're kind of stuck with just slots, because we have a deal with the casino we go to, and they give us press passes, but we're not allowed to go to the tables. And I'm more of the slots guy. Dylan is more of a tables guy. But once we're able to, muster up a big win and get some more attention from the casino, we're hoping to get a private table and actually show people how to win money.
That's cool. So I didn't know that. I mean, it totally makes sense, because anybody that's been kicked out of a casino knows that they're pretty stiff on security. So it makes sense that they don't just give you guys carte blanche to the whole casino, but it's also kind of cool that they hook you up with a press pass, so that when you're walking around in there with a camera, people aren't being like, what the hell's going on? They kind of just treat you like another news company or something like that.
Well, you'd be surprised. Even with the press pass, we've gotten some dirty looks and some comments from workers that they're just like, oh, you're not allowed to record, and we just gotta like blast it. I feel like I'm in the FBI or something.
Yeah, one time we were playing digital roulette, and this guy walks by, like we're being so blatant. We have a gimbal, like we're being loud. We have like the passes on our shirts. And he's like, you can't record in here. We're just like, yeah, we can, because. Like our first night in there, we went through the whole process of filling out the paperwork and all that boring stuff, and then we're getting to it, and then some random security person pulls us back into the office to try and make us sign paperwork. So there was like a growing pains with it, but at this point, yeah, it's cool. They all kind of know who we are. Like when we're there, they're all like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" You know, so it's a surreal experience.
It sounds like it, man. And you guys can answer this for me because you've got a lot of videos up there. I'm seeing you've got 46 videos. There's a ton of shorts. There's plenty of hours of content here. If you want to go and really dive in, you can accomplish that with Coop On Tilt. Whenever I see gambling videos on my socials, be they shorts or if I'm watching YouTube or something like that, you know, I'm like every red-blooded American. Right before I've got a trip to Vegas coming up, all of a sudden my YouTube history looks like I'm a professional gambler, which I am very much not. But what I notice when I'm watching, especially the shorts, it's always a win. And it's always a win. Sometimes it's big, sometimes it's moderate. It's never like $100. It's always thousands. And it makes me wonder, from your guys' experience, are those the fishing shows of gambling? Because when you watch a fishing show, they're only hauling out 12-inch, 2-foot-long salmon like they're showing the camera. Dude, I've been fishing. I know that took you 9 hours to get one bite, and you got lucky and pulled out a big one. What's it really like? Are you guys very good gamblers and you have a lot of success, so you get to post a lot of wins? Or is it like you're saying, you're going to end up taking a lot of hits before you get that one video where something really exciting happens?
Yeah, I think it's just the time thing. I mean, we know what to look for with slots, though. It's so insane. It's all luck with slots. The reason we started the channel actually is I went on a pretty wicked tear on Blackjack. I was killing it. I took in $100 and I ran it up to like $1,200. Left, wow. Came back and did it again. It was insane. And I was like, dude, we have to like document this.
Yeah,
like this is insane. Well, as soon as we started doing it on a camera, the luck ran out. It's convenient how that works.
Yeah.
But no, we've spent hours in there and we've gotten slaughtered. And even when you get that little one, it's just like, wait, we might be onto something here. And you just go, you just do it and you hope for the best, really.
Yeah, but I would say, going back to the fishing thing, it's definitely like that for sure, especially with channels like our size and in our range, you know, that don't have that known personality. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're going to pick out the big wins, but the reason we're fighting through all these losses to get there is because we're kind of driven by, when we started doing this, I kind of came in late on it. It was originally going to be Coop and his brother, but then I came in and we just started running with it. But anyway, our driving force is we want to get that big win and, of course, put some money to the side to keep the channel going and not take out of our pocket. But we want to like give back to our community, and we really want to, you know, just fun things that matter, whether it be, you know, food for the homeless, back to school stuff for kids, you know, the holiday, like doing stuff around holidays out of our pocket with this money. You know, that's why we sit here and take the L's, and we can't wait to have that fishing clip. And we know it's coming because we're doing it for the right reasons.
Absolutely. And what a great way to say it too. If good things happen to good people, then you guys are going to get the good thing eventually. You just got to keep going back to the well, right?
Amen. Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
That's really cool. So, talk to me about your favorite games. Clayton, you said you're kind of the slot guy. I'm interested because I've largely gotten my ass kicked on the slots every time I've tried to go, but we were at a bachelor party for one of my good buddies one time over on the Oregon coast, and we found a slot machine called Reel 'em In. And we had so much damn fun going fishing on that game. And between 4 or 5 of us, we put in about $40, and we're just kind of rotating, pressing the button. And we were just drinking, not paying attention. We looked down after a few bonuses, and we were up to like $550. And there started to be this kind of crowd of older people that gathered around, and they were just kind of watching the slot machine, which I didn't know was a spectator sport, but I'm here for it, okay? We're having fun. Everything's good. we all run out of drinks. So we go, okay, let's just cash the ticket out. We'll pull $40 out and put it back in, and we'll just start building it again when we get back. What we didn't realize is that there was a slot tournament going on right then at that casino.
Oh.
We left that machine, and the guy that sat down behind us won the slot tournament by flying colors. I mean, he was so far ahead of everybody else, and we basically gave him the machine. So talk to me about that from an experience perspective, Clayton.
Yeah.
Was that the biggest screw up that we've ever had, being on a heater and just leaving for a beer?
Oh my gosh, always. Because, there's that classic trope for like slot playing gamblers where, the reason people will reload when they feel a bonus coming is because as soon as you get up to go to the ATM, some old lady with her social security check is sitting there waiting for you to get up, and she's gonna bank on all that RTP, we call it. It's return to profit, because it's just about the swell. It's not always gonna hit. You're gonna take L's, but if you've been winning money, you don't leave that machine till you stop winning money. That's a core principle of being a slot gambler.
Okay.
I think that goes with any amount of gambling. Never leave a heater.
Blackjack.
Never leave a heater.
I heard a caveat in there, Clayton. Did you say except blackjack?
I did say except blackjack, but I have my personal issues. I have my personal issues with blackjack that we won't get into because I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. But to touch on the spectator sport thing, yes. If you ever, look, you say you get some reels and stuff. If you ever watch the online gambling community, it's so big with slots, like online, because there's online casinos, right? And I feel like that's a universal thing with slots, because when you start to see someone win, you want to witness, that screen full of matches on Huff and Puff and stuff like that. It's kind of like a kick, even if you're not the one winning the money, because you know what it's like. Not to make it deep and personal, because it's just slots, but.
No, but I feel like it's one of those things where, I just want to see somebody else hit so that I know that these things still actually hit. That's
100%.
It gives me some confidence that could be me one day, right?
Exactly. Yep, exactly. Holding on to that hope.
Okay.
That's what keeps us all going.
Yeah, exactly. So Clayton's the slots guy. Sounds like he's got a lot of just good information, knows what to look for. Can you give me, let's just look at this as just a general gambler. I've got $100 and I want to find a slot machine that I think I'm going to have some luck on. What should I look for when I walk into the casino?
Okay. You're going to look for Huff and Puff hard hats or Huff and Puff high rise. And you're going to give that sucker $51 spins and hope for a bonus. If you get in, if it pays you, great. If you don't, you're going to up that bet to $2 spins, and then you're going to spend it 25 more times. And if you lose all your money, I never said any of this. But there's potential in that strategy every time. Huff and Puff, not classic Huff and Puff. We're talking Huff and Puff hard hat, Huff and Puff high rise, Huff and even more Puff. I'm telling you, go spend that $100 in there.
That's the strategy.
There's passive bonuses and there's core bonuses. You want to look for slots that have passive bonuses on top of a scatter-based, OG slot bonus. Because sometimes you'll be spinning a slot and a dragon will just come on and fill the screen with wilds, and you win $200, $300 out of nowhere. So always look for multiple progressives, not just a regular bonus slot. But
okay, good advice.
Again, if you don't win money, I didn't say any of this. I am not liable.
Of course, this is not financial advice. This is merely guys talking about gambling on a podcast.
We are the worst to ask about financial advice.
No, if you're coming to the Liquid Trucking Podcast for your financial advice, you've got a list of problems that goes beyond what you're listening to. So we're not gonna bark up that tree. But it's interesting because as somebody that has, I enjoy playing a slot machine, but I know nothing about it. I've always wondered if when that dragon fills up the screen and something crazy happens, if it's something I did or if I just picked the right game and it happened at the right time. Sounds like it's a right game, right time thing. Like that's not something that I did. Yeah. It just happened.
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah, you have no control. Yeah, it's like Coop was saying earlier with slots especially, it's all luck. Like there is no actual strategy. The only real strategy that I can give and advice if you're going to play slots is play your bankroll. Like if you're going in with $100, don't do $20 spins and then get mad when you don't win anything. That's only 5 spins. You want to maximize your spins. That's a big thing with slots is get as many reps as you can, because I've seen videos of people winning $1 million off of a 20-cent bet because they hit the grand jackpot. So you never know. Get as many spins into the machine as you can if that's the route you're going to go.
Okay, all right. See, because I grew up. I'm a little bit older than what you guys are, and I grew up with, Vegas Vacation is a very popular movie, and I just want to be Mr. Papa Giorgio and go win 4 cars in a row on 4 straight slot pulls. I don't know that that'll ever happen, but I'm holding out hope. So
hey, I hope it happens to us. That would be a killer of a video on YouTube.
Yeah, it would be. It would be. So, Dylan, I want to turn to you now. Now that we've kind of talked about the slots a little bit, you sound like you're a little bit more of a table gamer. Is that true?
I am a huge table game enthusiast. I know every strategy, every like all of it. I could explain any game that is on the table.
Okay. So what's your favorite one? If let's say you're not making a video today, you're just going in to have fun, where's the first stop?
If I'm going in to have fun, it's probably going to be Blackjack. I love how intense and up and down Blackjack can be. Blackjack can be. Ugh.
We can say Jack Black too. He's cool. Like we all love Jack Black,
Lava chicken, baby.
But yeah, I don't know. I think Blackjack, and there's so many like different games of Blackjack. I mean, you got Spanish 21, you've got Free Bet, which is my favorite. Free Bet is insane. That game you can win. You could put $1 on a side bet and walk out with $7,000 from betting on the side bet, not even the main action. It's insane. But yeah, if I'm going in there to win money, I'd probably say no commission backrats where I'm going to sit at.
And that was going to be my next question, because if you listen to any podcasts with guys that gamble professionally, they will all tell you that baccarat's where they go to win their money, to build their bankroll. And then they might take some bigger shots at some of these other games, but baccarat's the one. Is that just because it's pretty simplified and the odds are good, or is it because why is that the game that gamblers trust to go make their money? Because if I'm not mistaken, Blackjack actually has a better return, correct? Like percentage wise?
Blackjack does not have a better return. I'm pretty sure Baccarat does.
Or the lowest edge.
Baccarat.
Sorry, I was thinking lowest house edge is Blackjack, but is that actually not true? Is Baccarat have a lower house edge?
It's gonna be Baccarat, because you're not playing against the house. You're literally picking what you think the cards are gonna do, and it's player or banker. And if you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. But it has to be no commission, because when you play commission, if you bet banker, you're giving a little bit of your bet to the house. So I look for no commission tables. No commission baccarat is the jam, because I don't know if it's just like superstitious or what, but it seems like banker hits a lot, even though it literally has nothing to do with the game.
Right.
It's like it's just. Yeah, it just is a spot you can play.
Yeah, and I mean, that's, I haven't played much of it. I'll be honest with you. I think I've only sat down at a table maybe twice or 3 times, and the alcohol consumption was questionable to begin with. So I don't, but what I remember is people just saying, just always bet on the banker. Like that's the strategy that some of my friends use. They just sit down and they just bet banker, and that's how they have fun. Pros and cons with that strategy.
It's more about what you're betting, because like with Clayton, what he was saying with the slots, like you go in with 100, you want to stretch it out. You want to do the polar opposite with baccarat.
Yeah, 100%.
50-50 shot. If you do one hand of $100, your odds are going to be 50-50. But if you do 2 hands of $50, now you just increased your chance of losing. So like if you're there to make money, pretty much go all in. Again. If you do this, it is not my fault that you lost, but that's the best way.
This is nothing other than conversation. Don't even take it as advice. Yeah. But if you happen to, and it works out, please subscribe to Coop On Tilt on YouTube. You see how I'm trying to help you out here. I feel like if you give somebody a tip, the least they could do is go click subscribe, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We love it, man. And we jump in the comments all the time and chat it up with people. We're always there to answer questions. We both run the channel. He does a lot of the filming and editing side. I do the thumbnails and the uploads for the most part, and we've just been rocking it out. We haven't posted. We usually do every Monday, but the last 2 Mondays we've been slacking because it was my anniversary my 1 year anniversary last year, and we've got some huge things. I mean, when did we say this was going to drop? October?
This will be actually the beginning of October, so the 8th of October.
Oh, the 8th of October. Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah. No. So we've been slacking because I recently just bought my first home.
Ooh, where's that applause button? Hit that applause button.
I got it for you. I got it.
Yeah.
I'll even throw in a party horn, man.
Yeah. Me and my wife, we just got our first home. It's amazing, but it's not cheap, man. It's not cheap, and she already hates the casino videos that we do. She supports me 100%, but she doesn't agree with them. So for her sake, we're taking a little hiatus, so we'll be right back at it. Shortly after this video or this podcast.
Yeah, after this drops. Yeah.
Okay.
And I just want to touch on the traffic thing too. It's like, again, we're doing this, of course, because we like to gamble, and but also we're really chasing a big win so that we can make a difference. So if the advice screws you, whatever, let that be the driving force why you come engage, because every every comment, it helps so much push into the algorithm and just makes what we do and the purpose behind why we're doing it. It amplifies it in a big way. So we appreciate all the engagement.
Yeah, absolutely. And think about it this way. If you don't want to go and chase that big win as a person, you can follow Coop On Tilt, watch them chase the big win, feel really good about helping them get to their goal when they achieve it, and you can still pay rent at the end of the month. Look at that.
Exactly. Let us take the pain and absorb it for you.
All right, guys. Well, listen, you've spent plenty of time with me here today. I only have a couple more things to get to before I'm going to let you guys get back to what you were doing. And I want to look at this kind of independent of the YouTube page, because we've already talked about we're chasing the big win on the YouTube page. We know we haven't hit it quite yet, but there's lots of videos to go watch. Talk to me about your gambling history off the camera. Is there a big, an iconic win that kind of turns you into the gambler that you are today? Last week on the show, we were talking hunting, and I was telling this story about this 13-year-old kid that caught a 177-pound fish. And I said that kid will be a fisherman for the rest of his life, and he'll chase that dragon for the rest of his life because he might not ever replicate that again. What was that moment for you guys in gambling? Dylan, I'll start with you.
I don't know if anyone does any online stuff. There's a couple online sites, and there's this slot, unfortunately. Because that's the thing with slots. I mean, you could put $1 in and literally win $3,000. If you put $1 on a blackjack table, you're gonna win $1.
Right.
I mean, but I was playing some slots, having a beer or two after work, just clicking away, and I think it was $1.25 spin, and I got into the bonus, and it just went crazy. I think the total was 3,150. I think.
Wow.
I have the picture in my phone, so off of $1.50. It was mind blowing. I took screenshots. I pulled the money out, and I said I was never going to gamble again. I lied.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Yeah.
It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Yeah, I'm just like that 13-year-old kid. I'm chasing that another 3,000.
I hear you. Well, that's a cool story, though, dude. I mean, listen, that's what changes you. My wife was on her bachelorette party in Vegas and decided to drop $20 into a slot machine because she liked Lord of the Rings, and that was what was on it. And she came home with $700, and I think that's still one of the only times she's gambled, and I don't understand it. It's how could you not want to do that? Every slot machine, I would have blown that $700. The last 5 of it would have gone into a slot machine at the airport. I'll tell you that right now. I totally get that. Clayton, how about you, man? Did you have one of those moments that really, it just clicked and you were in?
I've had plenty of those moments. I think it would be more interesting to tell you one time where I thought I had one of those moments, and I ended the night self-banning myself from 3 different casinos for a year.
Okay,
so,
love to hear that.
Yes, yeah. So I was in the poker room just having a tear of a night. I'm saying I had the nuts every single hand for 20, 30 hands in a row. It was the most ridiculous run ever. And there was this old guy who just kept full reloading bullets and just handing them to me, to the point where he screamed at me at the table and stormed out of the poker room. And I tried to tell him honestly, like, I have a full house. Do not go all in. And he went all in. It was a great night. So I leave the poker room with $4,000. I got 4 yellow chips. You know, I go cash them out for chips. Anyway, I sit down with 4 yellow chips at the blackjack table, and this is why I don't like blackjack, is I get cocky, and I throw $1,000 chip down, gone. I'm like, oh, I can't lose $1,000 twice in a row. Throw another one on, gone. And then I do it again, gone. And then I cash out my last yellow for all blacks, and I run down this $4,000 that I worked for 4 or 5 hours in the poker room. I burn it all down to $0 in 30 minutes. And I immediately go to the pit boss, and I'm like, how do I self-ban? Like, so, well, I've had a lot of ups, a lot of downs.
That is definitely a cautionary tale, and for everybody. And I'm glad that we told one on this, because gambling is one of those things that you got to be careful with it. There are going to be some people out there that have some problems with it, and we don't want anybody to lose their shirt off their back or their house or anything like that. Yeah. So it's important to remember there are resources out there for you. If you're having trouble with gambling, we will I'll throw those into the outro. I'll give you the gambling hotline number in case you need to call somebody, because we do want to take this serious, because it's like you said, not only did you work really hard for 4 hours for that $4,000, but you got your ass yelled at by an angry old man in a poker room. And I've been there before. I had a guy cuss me out in a poker room in Russian one time, and that was really disconcerting. I entered a Texas Hold'em tournament at midnight, and at 4 a.m. it was me and my 3 drunk friends sitting behind me watching, and this guy heads up. And I was just kind of chatting with my friends in between, and he stood up and slammed his fists on the table and started screaming in Russian. And it was the scariest thing that I've ever went through. I ended up taking his money, and he screamed at me again. Great night for me, but also, getting screamed at by an old man in a poker room kind of throws off the vibes.
Yeah, I totally understand. And I agree. If you really do struggle with gambling, seek help. And we don't encourage anybody to do it. And if you do decide to do it, only gamble with what you can afford to lose. Don't go into your rent money. Just have that self-control. It can be difficult, but we just encourage anybody out there that is going to step into this world and have a little fun to do that. Just have fun. We're chasing out of money we can afford to lose. We don't encourage you to do anything different than that. So
great. That's well said, dude. I'm glad that we got to that. Thank you for that. Fellas, before I let you go, the same thing that I offer to everybody that joins us here on the Liquid Trucking Podcast is going to be what I'm going to offer to you. We have a section called Final Thoughts at the end of every single interview where I give you the floor. You can use this time to say hi to maybe some family members that might listen. You can say hi to drivers, fellow employees. You can give us a message a lot like the one that we just got. Hey, if you have trouble with gambling, here's some resources. The floor is completely yours. I want to say thanks from everybody here at the Liquid Trucking Podcast to both Clayton and Dylan for coming on today and sharing their time with us. And for the final thoughts, Clayton, we'll go ahead and start with you, man. Anything else to offer before we let you go?
Yeah, I just want to say to anybody struggling out there, anybody having doubts about what their purpose is in life, and to just anybody struggling to find hope, that Jesus Christ is here for you. He loves you. He always has your back, and he's waiting for you in Scripture and in community. And I encourage everybody to seek Jesus Christ.
Thanks for that, Clayton. We appreciate the time, man, and good luck chasing it, man. I know I'm going to catch it on YouTube one of these times, and you're going to be the guy behind the camera, so we appreciate you being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Dylan Coop, trailer technician from the trailer shop at Liquid Trucking. Final thoughts from you, my friend, and again, thank you for the time today.
I just want to thank Jason and Nick, and I don't know who the other guy is that came down and asked me if I would jump on the podcast, but shout out to you. Thank you guys for coming down and having me peer pressure to come on. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. Maybe I'll see you again. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Coop On Tilt every Monday. We'll be dropping videos. Thank you, Marcus, for hanging out with us. Hey, God bless everybody.
Dude, thank you guys so much. And again, I want to make sure and really drive this point home, Dylan. The drivers love and appreciate you guys out there in the shop. So share that sentiment from all the drivers that come on this show. Big hats off to you guys and all the great work you do in the truck and trailer shop out there.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. We appreciate you guys.
Well, not me, but them, which is totally
Well,
fine.
yeah, them guys.
I'm just the guy that peer pressures people to come on and talk to me. So let's not get that twisted. That's Dylan Coop and Clayton Newburn. Check them out. Coop on Tilt on YouTube. Thanks, fellas. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Marcus. Bye.
A big thanks to Dylan Coop, trailer shop employee. Don't get it twisted now, Marcus. And also, we want to thank his cameraman, Clayton Newburn. Fun interview there and a real good peek behind the curtain. I use that reference when I asked them about fishing shows very specifically. I've always watched these gamblers on YouTube or on TikTok or Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, you name it, and it's always just bang, here's $4,000, we're putting it out, bang, we won again, oh my God, it's just one after another. Listen, I have been to Las Vegas, I think 15 times in my life. Most of those trips, save for 2 of them, were trips designed specifically to gamble. Go to the pool, drink yourself to sleep, take a nap, get up, go sit at the table, and drink yourself to sleep again. That's the structure of my trips with my college buddies. There's one steak dinner in there in a 4-night trip, and the rest of the time we're either at the pool or on the tables. So I happen to know that we wouldn't call it gambling if it was just winning that often. And while I've had my luck in Vegas, yeah, out of 15 trips that I've taken in my life, I have gone home up maybe 4 times. And I think that might be kind of a liberal estimate, if you want my honest opinion. Now, some of those times have gone up with, come back with quite a bit more money than I left with. Other times, it's like you're licking your wounds and you're up $40, so you'll go ahead and call that a win, right? Listen, it's gambling for a reason. We are literally gambling here. This is they don't call it that because they want to try to pull the wool over your eyes, okay? So I thought, since, we got some stuff out of the way, we finally talked to somebody from the trailer shop. We actually got some insight into the gig. Now we talk about kind of his side gig here and what he does just for fun. And I know that there's people out there that struggle with addiction to gambling, guys. I just know it. I've seen it. If you've never known a degenerate gambler in your life, unfortunately, it's a very, very sad thing to see. Because look, if that $5 is going to a chicken sandwich so you can live and breathe for 3 more days, or if that $5 is going to that chasing that line where, man, I might be able to turn that into 10 and that's 2 chicken sandwiches, gosh, it's a bad place to be, you guys. And so I wanted to bring this whole thing full circle. Dylan and Clayton said, both of them on the podcast, they are only gambling money that they can afford to lose. And I think that's a very important aspect here. If you can't light that money on fire that you're taking into the casino and not have it affect you in some way, shape, or form, then you probably shouldn't do it. Now, don't take the advice from me, okay? I'm like a moderate gambler. I'm not any good at it. I don't have any special tricks or tips. I've got little things that I like to do and try, and we just heard about how, like, most of my trips from Vegas have cost me money when all I've done the whole time is gambled. So I thought I would bring you guys some stats here, some facts about the industry, and then also I'm going to bring you some resources because one of the things that is great about this podcast, but also sucks about this podcast for me personally, is that I know that I'm talking to a number of you right now. I know that in any given one of these episodes, there could be up to 1,200 people listening, 1,500 people, 2,000 people at one time, okay? I don't know all of you. I only know a select few of you, unfortunately, so I can't speak for what's going on in your lives, what kind of struggles you're going through. But I thought that it would be a really good idea to bring in the resources and help out, just in case any of you are struggling with gambling addiction out there. So let's listen to some stats here real quick first, talk about the industry as a whole, and then we'll get into some places where you can find some help. The reason I'm bringing you these facts is because I once had a wise man in Las Vegas tell me when I was, again, licking my wounds from a very expensive night, they don't keep the lights on in these casinos by letting you win. And man, is that the truth. U.S. gambling industry today, key trends and data right here for you. There was record industry revenue and growth, as if that should ever surprise you. In 2024, U.S. commercial gaming revenue hit a record $72 billion, marking the fourth year in a row of growth driven by cross-vertical strength in sports betting and iGaming. Now, I want to draw a very, very important conclusion for you here. And this is probably independent of any studies. They probably have studied it. I'm just not going to go run down that research because this is just me putting two and two together by looking at the numbers here. 4 years of growth, 4 years in a row of growth in the United States gaming industry. What happened in 2020? We all got locked in our goddamn houses for a year. You remember that? And what did people do? Well, we all got checks from the government, and that seemed like extra funds to do what? I don't know, download DraftKings and throw it all on the Bears, man. That is a direct correlation in my eyes. I'm not smart enough to tell you that that's exactly what happened. I'm telling you right now that when a lot of us had nothing better to do, we were gambling. I was part of that. I played a metric shit ton of online poker during the pandemic. It was one way, actually, that my friends and I got together and actually got to spend some time together because we all live in different places and no one could travel. So, using the big brain on that one, just trying to think through that a little bit. In quarter two of 2025, here's a more recent stat for you. Revenue totaled $19.44 billion. Now, I just told you that in 2024, we hit $72 billion. This is in quarter two of 2025. We have already gone past basically the 25% mark, which means we're growing again. We're on track for our fifth year. A 9.8 year-over-year increase between 2024 and 2025. Land-based casino gaming accounted for roughly $12.83 billion of that, while online sports betting and iGaming combined for $6.44 billion. Brick-and-mortar casinos contributed $50 billion, while sports betting revenue surged to $13.7 billion, which is a 25% growth year-over-year, and iGaming revenue grew around 30% to $8.4 billion. So what we see here, your brick-and-mortar casinos are still clearing a large amount, more than half of what the total revenue for gambling is in the United States. But sports betting, 25% growth. That's DraftKings. That's a sleeper. That's all of them. That's where you play your fantasy football, right? This is daily fantasy football. All that stuff is considered under sports betting. And then iGaming, which I do believe is going to be some of your more, like they have digital slots and things like that, digital casinos. That's up 30%. So the ways in which we gamble are changing slightly, but really it's just more avenues have opened up for you to plug your money into. How about mega events, right? We've got a few really big events here that come either through the United States or are happening abroad, and trust me, we're betting on them. Super Bowl LIX in 2025, legal U.S. sports betting handle was estimated to be $1.39 billion on just that game, up 11% from the prior year. And when you're talking 11% of a billion, that's a lot of cheddar, you guys. Alternate forecasts projected the total could actually reach over $1.5 billion in regulated markets alone. Americans are expected to wager $30 billion legally over the 2025 NFL season, which is up 8.5% over 2024's $27.6 billion handle. Global events like the World Cup attract trillions globally, with the total handle estimated at over $136 billion in recent tournaments, U.S. share, of course, being included in that. And something else to remember, It's the house edge. I talked to Dylan a little bit about it. I had a question because, you hear among gambling circles and degenerate gamblers, unfortunately, you will hear about a house edge. That's just how much more the machine is going to pay the house, or the game is going to pay the house, than it's going to pay you. It's their cost of doing business. They're saying, and maybe I'm incorrect about this, but 20% of the time, you don't win. And that is what we're charging you to play the game. The other 80% of the time, you also don't win, but you can. Think about it that way, right? Casino games inherently favor the house. This is just the way, as the kind gentleman told me, that they keep the lights on. Slot machines may carry up to a 35% house edge. That is why Clayton told you, unless you know what you're doing, you do not just want to be dropping random money in slot machines. That's what they're designed to do. They're along the walkways. They're easily accessible. They're bright and colorful, and they make fun noises. They are meant to grab the child instincts in your brain that saw an arcade game at a carnival and wet their pants over it. That's that little bit. It's trying to get down to that like primal kid thing in your brain. And it works. But as Clayton and Dylan both said, man, you don't want to just be running up with $100 and going and dropping 20 in this one and 20 in that. There's a strategy to at least maximizing your odds. That doesn't mean you're going to win. It just means that you can win more than somebody that's not doing that strategy would win, right? Let's talk about skilled blackjack players. If you're very good at blackjack, you understand how to play the game. I would assume that this means by the book. Which isn't card counting. For those of you that don't gamble, playing blackjack by the book just means that there's a very specific set of hit and stay rules in blackjack that if you follow, you will maximize or minimize the house edge, I guess. But blackjack is widely considered to be one of the favorites among gamblers because of the low house edge. It only has about 0.5% house edge, but you have to look for different things in blackjack, right? What are the odds? Are they paying 5 to 6? Are they paying 1 to 2? Are they paying 2 to 3? Sometimes casinos like to mess with this stuff. Are there bonus bets on there? You heard Dylan and Clayton talk about a really good night because they were hitting $1 bonus bets. Look, those things can be great. You can also throw 100 $1 chips in 100 straight hands on that side bet and never win a penny. I've seen it happen. I've been there when it happens. I've been the guy that lost 100. I've also won, $75, $80 on a $1 bet on one of those side bets. So look, it's all designed to take your money out of your wallet and put it in someone else's. And I think that's the most important thing that we can remember when we glorify gambling a little bit on an episode. Because look, it's fun. I'm not going to fault you for it. I love to gamble. If one of my friends walked in the door with a box of poker chips and a deck of cards right now, I would provide the beer and I would pay to be a part of the game. So I'm into it, okay? But I think it's really important that we look at this from all sides. Now that we've talked a little bit about what the gambling industry actually is and why everybody involved in it and everybody that profits off of it drives around in Bentleys and flies private jets, all right? It's a lot of money moving around. And I want to remind you guys something. This is only legal gambling that we're talking about here. There is no way to track all the illegal betting that happens, all the illegal gambling houses, all the illegal sports betting, and just pretty much guarantee yourself that it's going to be that number or larger. I don't know how it wouldn't be. Gambling's a very popular thing, and that's why we have resources to try to help people out of the dark hole that it can put you into. The National Problem Gambling Helpline can be reached at 1-800-GAMBLER. It's free, confidential, multilingual help with referrals to local resources. You can call, text, or chat with services available 24/7, vital as demand has surged. Calls are up 43%, texts are up 60%, and chats are up 84% since 2021. That should tell you something. Again, over that 4-year span where the revenue has just exploded, calls to gambling helplines, texts, and chats have also exploded, okay? Just a few out there in the Midwest, if you're interested. Ohio, the helpline's 800-989-9966. Pennsylvania, same thing, 1-800-GAMBLER. The Michigan helpline, 1-800-270-7117, offering crisis intervention and referrals. you guys are out there in Nebraska, I'm about to get you the Nebraska Gambling Helpline number. And if this is hard to remember, then just call 1-800-GAMBLER, all right? They will connect you to local resources. Let's see here. Nebraska Commission on Problem Gaming, 1-833-BET-OVER. 1-833-BET-OVER is going to hook you up with the Nebraska State Gambling Support Hotline. There's also support groups and peer groups, much like there is for drug addiction, alcohol addiction, all this type of stuff. You can go to a group of like-minded people and talk out the things that are bothering you and actually get some help from peers that are going through the same thing or have been through the same thing. Gamblers Anonymous is a peer-led fellowship funded in 1957. Members commit to problem gambling recovery through shared experience and support. Additional networks include Smart Recovery, GAM-Anon, which is gambling anon, basically like Al-Anon or Narc-Anon, right? This is for loved ones, and region-specific support like Florida's 888 Admit It line, offering peer connect, self-assessment tools, and financial counseling. Another website that you can go to find connections to all of this stuff is gamblinghelp.org. That's simple. Just go to gamblinghelp.org. There are resources out there to get you the help that you need if you need that help. And again, we're all adults here, okay? This is an adult program. While we've had some kids on it before to talk about some of the cool stuff that they're getting into and just kind of gush on them for mom and dad, this is an adult show. We're all adults here, and I want to be very, very honest with you when I say if you're a gambler and you love it and it's not taking a chunk out of your life in one way, shape, or form, more power to you. Have fun. Hit the tables with me. I'll even buy you a drink. If you're somebody that is having trouble and can't stop, that's where we really want to come in and just make sure that you hear these resources are available to you. And we hope collectively here at the Liquid Trucking Podcast, if you are in that dark hole that gambling can put you in, we hope that you get some help. And we hope that you have found a little bit of knowledge in what we've talked about here on the show today. I want to thank Dylan Coop and Clayton Newburn again for that awesome interview. It was a lot of fun. And listen, we're going to follow along with them. I can't wait to hear when they finally do hit their big score, what they're going to do with that money. They've already said, they committed right here on the show. They're going to do something local. They're going to help out local people, whether it be homeless people, food banks, charities. You just pick it. It's going to happen. And sooner or later, I can tell they're good guys. Dylan, I can speak for, works for a great company that only employs great people. So he's deserving, okay? Like we all probably are. Like everybody's gone through that stage in life where you go, man, a huge gambling win would help right now. But that's also a dangerous path to go down, okay? Thank you guys for listening to episode 97 of the Liquid Trucking Podcast today. Again, thanks to Dylan and Clayton for the awesome interview. We will be back next week with bells on and flying colors like we always are. Until then, you only have one homework project this week. Stay safe and keep the shiny side up. We'll talk to you next week, drivers.
Thanks for tuning in and being the gold standard of drivers on the road. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and tune in next week for another episode of the Liquid Trucking Podcast.
Interested in finding out more about what it takes to bring a podcast like the Liquid Trucking Podcast to your fleet? Bulldog provides tailor-made, top-to-bottom podcast production services. We'll meet your terminal staff, connect with your drivers, and bring you the content you want your drivers to hear. Type bulldog.works into your browser to connect with us and learn more about what we can do for your fleet. That's bulldog.works for podcasts, tenacious recruiting, and more.